everyone, my name is Gina Bernetti. I'm in the Theories of Personality course, summer 2014. For this topic, I chose to do it on the Dalai Lama speech. Now what I'm going to do is just a quick overview of what the speech was about. The name of it was Seeds of Love and Compassion. Now during the speech, the Dalai Lama explains that a baby's first happiness is with its mother. And the reason being is because the mother provides the baby with care, love, and food. Therefore, the baby becomes very trustworthy of its mother, and that's the first love of a baby. The Dalai Lama also states that children who are shown maximum affection and love are emotionally much more stable and happier in life. If children were brought up around trust and friendship, then they will become happy in general. He says that his happiness cannot bring money, and he also believes that poor families are much more happier than rich families. He believes this because rich families are basically handed everything in life, where poor families have to work really hard to where they want to get to in life and what they want in life. And per my observation in the career field that I chose to work in as the substance abuse field, I do see this on a daily basis on the teenagers and even the adults that come from a lot of money. They just expect that their parents are going to come and bring them money and give them all their belongings and everything is all great, where the people that come from poverty are much more forgiving. I see them calling their families and apologizing and just calling to say, I love you and how are you doing, and they're just way more appreciative of life and that the fact that they're getting the help that they need. The Dalai Lama's mother was an uneducated woman and a farmer, but she was very compassionate to him, and not only him, but to other children. She was a very loving person. His father, on the other hand, was compassionate as well, but he lost his temper very quickly. And I can say that my father is the same exact way. As much as he loves me and does everything for me, he loses his temper in a snap of a finger. He also states that when he was a child, he would start to cry and kick if his mother didn't listen to him. What he would do, he would pull on his mother's ears, either the left one or the right one, depending on which direction he wanted to go, whether it was left or right. And if she didn't listen to him or pay any attention to him, that's when he would start crying and kicking like a typical baby would do. He believes that his practice in Buddhism stems from his mother. He also states that if deep down inside, if you have some type of compassionate heart, it just automatically brings inner strength. Overall, what the Dalai Lama is trying to say in his speech is just be happy in general. There's no reason to think about the next life or think about becoming rich. Just be happy and appreciate the things that you have. How does positive psychology or Buddhist psychology concepts address children who are orphans or have unhealthy parents? How is their personality development affected? Let me start off by giving you the definition of positive psychology. Positive psychology is the current movement in psychology that emphasizes healthy functioning, with concern for immediate experience and positive emotions such as happiness. Now, Buddhist psychology, on the other hand, basically focuses on thinking positive, free from suffering, and happiness. These children's development are affected by a negative manner due to the fact that as children grow and learn, they observe and they pick up their surroundings' actions. And their surroundings are usually the parents or just the family in general. When a child is brought up in an unhealthy environment, the child will pick up the traits of the individual's actions, and also the individuals who are part of that environment. And according to the Dalai Lama, children who experience these situations will later have problems and issues in their life. According to Abraham Maslow, children in orphanages or children who have unhealthy parents possibly don't have enough food, sleep, or water. Therefore, they can't rise up in the hierarchy of needs because their focus will always be on food, sleep, and water. According to Alfred Adler, children who have been neglected and children who are orphans are likely to believe that others will not support them. The Dalai Lama mentioned that he visited Poland and went to an orphanage, And the people at the orphanage said that these children were unwanted children, which the Dalai Lama did not like to hear. He states that children who have had to go through this type of situation, or any situation that's negative, are affected for the rest of their lives by problems and by issues. And like I said earlier about the career that I chose to work in, I do see this also on a daily basis. Children that were adopted and children whose parents weren't there to raise them developed drug issues, and they just became, they got in a lot more trouble than others and ended up in some type of facility or a rehab center. And right here I just chose some photos of orphans that have smiles on their faces, because it does make me happy to know that even though these children are orphans, they still have fun and they're not always sad like you would imagine that they are. Now I'm going to compare and differentiate the Dalai Lama and other philosophers. Alfred Adler mentioned that children love to be in control. And as I mentioned earlier, the Dalai Lama would pull on his mother's left or right ear depending on which direction he wanted to go in. And if she didn't listen, that's when he would start crying and kicking. In that case, the Dalai Lama was in control of his mother. Adler also believes that the way someone's child personality develops is based on the parents. The Dalai Lama states that the way a child is treated by his or her parents determines how they will be overall, whether they become happy, unhappy, insecure, and so on and so forth. Erik Erikson's stage 1 in the 8 stages is trust versus mistrust. The infant will gain trust in the provider and caregiver, which is usually the parents or the mother. And the Dalai Lama states that infants will become attached and trustworthy of its mother. Karen Horney says that parental behavior that undermines a feeling of safety will lead to neurotic development. That basically means that if a parent neglects or continues to reject a child, the child will develop neediness, which will drive other people away in the future. The Dalai Lama states that people who uses the phrases I, me, and myself are self-centered people, and they make it very difficult to communicate with other people, which drives people away, just like Karen Horney states. Adler discusses the 3 tasks of life, which are work, love, and social interactions. Now this can go both ways as far as comparing and contrasting. The Dalai Lama believes that work is not as important as compassion. He believes that money and working will not buy his happiness. But love, of course, is something that is preached by the Dalai Lama, especially in his speech. And he believes that love is the most important factor out of them all. Social interactions are also important because, as the Dalai Lama says in his speech, if someone is too self-centered, people don't want to be around them. And we do need people in our lives to move forward and to just be happy. According to Horney, the feeling of not being loved or neglect drives people to feel power. A person can either move towards people, move against people, or move away from people. The Dalai Lama states that people who were brought up with not enough love could potentially become insecure and unhappy. Horney focuses on preventing those traits. Gordon Allport has an equation which is personality equals hereditary times environment. He believes personality stems from genes and environment. The Dalai Lama believes personality stems from the way someone was raised and treated, which I do also agree with, because I believe that when you're a child and an infant, you observe the people that you live with, like your parents or your family, and you just become so accustomed to their personality that later on in life you develop the personality that they have. And these are just the references that I used to conclude my PowerPoint. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.